It's a quiet afternoon on the African savanna, nearly 2.8 million years ago. The air is warm, the landscape bathed in golden light. A young hominin, just a child, sits beneath the shade of a tree. This child, an early Australopithecus africanus, is no taller than the average toddler of today, but far more self-reliant. With curious hands, she sifts through pebbles and twigs, mimicking the adult she's seen digging for roots or cracking open nuts. While usually wary of predators, right now she's in an open environment near her group. A time to relax as they keep an eye on their surroundings. But safety is an illusion here. The child is unaware of the predator that is watching her from a distance, silent and calculating. Danger, it seems, can come from the most unexpected places. Our case today is set in the African savanna of 2.8 million years ago, a place of immense beauty, but also danger. Wide, open grasslands stretch toward the horizon, broken only by clusters of acacia trees and patches of dense woodland. Seasonal rains carve shallow streams into the soil, drawing animals to drink at the water's edge. This was an ecosystem teeming with life, but one where survival often hung by a thread. In this precarious environment lived Australopithecus africanus, an early hominin species and a critical link in human evolution. These small, upright walkers were quick and resourceful, but far from the top of the food chain. Adults stood barely 4 feet tall and weighed less than a modern teenager. Their survival depended on their intelligence, their ability to forage for food, and the safety provided by the group. These hominins were remarkable in their ability to adapt to changing environments. Walking upright freed their hands for gathering food and using simple tools. Their diet consisted of fruits, nuts, roots, and occasionally meat scavenged from animal carcasses. Life revolved around family groups. Adults worked together to protect and teach the young, while always remaining vigilant against threats. But this child's greatest danger was very hard to spot. Too stealthy, too fast, and too lethal to fight against. As the child plays and the group eats and socializes, a predator has been watching for hours. Its patience is unmatched, its instincts honed by millennia of evolution. It waits for the perfect moment. A moment when the adults are distracted and the child is just far enough from safety. Then, with barely a sound, the predator launches into action. Silent, stealthy, and accurate enough that even the child could not alert her elders of the threat. 1 second the little girl was playing under a tree. The next second, like a flash, she was gone. Her relatives, noticing her disappearance, are startled. But this is sadly common at the time, and the group searches quickly for tracks so that they know what predators to look out for their own safety. But much to their surprise, there are none, and they are left saddened, confused, and scared. Fast forward to 1924. In the dry, dusty heat of a limestone quarry near Taung, South Africa, workers swing their pickaxes against the ancient stone. It's another day of back-breaking labor, and the miners are focused on their task, extracting lime for industrial use. But then, amidst the rubble, someone spots something unusual. At first, it looks like just another rock, but upon closer inspection, the miner notices the smooth contours of a small skull embedded in the limestone. Its features are delicate and fragile, and its size suggests it once belonged to a child. Intrigued but unaware of its significance, the workers hand it off to a local foreman. From there, it makes its way to a university in Johannesburg, where it captures the attention of a young anatomist named Raymond Dart. Raymond Dart was no stranger to fossils, but this one was different. As he carefully removed the limestone encasing the skull, he realized he was holding something extraordinary. The skull was small, with features that hinted at both ape and human characteristics. Dart noted the position of the foramen magnum, the hole where the spinal cord connects to the brain. It was positioned at the base of the skull, indicating that this creature walked upright like a human. The teeth told another story. While the child's molars were primitive, resembling those of an ape, they lacked the sharp canines characteristic of many primates. This was something new, a species that seemed to bridge the gap between apes and humans. Dart named it Australopithecus africanus, or southern ape of Africa. marking it as a key discovery in the story of human evolution. News of the find spread quickly, sparking excitement and controversy in equal measure. Many scientists were skeptical. At the time, the prevailing theory was that human origins lay in Asia, not Africa. Dart's claims of an African ape man were met with resistance. But over time, the evidence mounted, and the Tong child became a cornerstone of paleoanthropology, a window into the distant past, when our ancestors were still finding their place in a dangerous world. But the story of the Tong child didn't end with its identification as an early human ancestor. As more scientists examined the fossil, they noticed something troubling. The skull bore unmistakable signs of violence. 2 deep puncture wounds in the eye sockets were the most obvious injuries. These marks were clean, round, and symmetrically placed, demanding an explanation. What could leave such deliberate marks? At first, theories ran wild. Some suggested these injuries might have been caused by large carnivores, perhaps a leopard or a saber-toothed cat. These predators were known to bite the heads of prey, leaving puncture wounds where their canine teeth pierced the bone. But as scientists compared the Tong child's injuries to modern examples of predation, the leopard theory fell apart. The punctures were too clean, too sharp, and didn't align with the spacing of a leopard's teeth. The next clue came from fractures on the top of the skull. These cracks radiated outward from points of impact, consistent with massive force being applied. CT scans revealed further internal damage that aligned with the external injuries, and some pieces of the skull were missing entirely, as though removed during or after the attack. Evidence that this was no accident or scavenging event. This was a crime scene. In the 1990s, a breakthrough came when scientists compared the skull to the injuries inflicted on modern primates in similar African environments. Suddenly, the mystery of the Tong child's death began to take shape. The injuries were inflicted by a predator that killed the child and carried it away, likely to a high perch where it could feed in safety. The Tong child had been the victim of an aerial ambush. Her killer? A crowned eagle. The crowned eagle is one of the most powerful aerial predators in Africa today. With talons as sharp as knives and a grip strong enough to crush bone, this raptor is a master of the ambush. Modern crowned eagles hunt primates, small antelope, and even animals larger than themselves. They use their exceptional eyesight to spot prey from a distance, swooping down silently to deliver a precise, deadly strike. In prehistoric times, their ancestors were even larger. These eagles were apex predators of the canopy, ruling the skies with their lethal combination of speed, stealth, and strength. Raptors like eagles and hawks are known for their lethal efficiency, and their hunting techniques often leave distinctive marks on their prey. The spacing of the puncture wounds in the Tong child's eye sockets provided the breakthrough. When measured against the talon marks left by modern crowned eagles, the fit was almost exact. These birds, which hunt small mammals and primates in Africa today, kill by striking with their talons and delivering crushing force to the head. The injuries to the Tong child mirrored this technique. The punctures in the eye sockets aligned with the bird's powerful inner talons, which are used to grip and immobilize prey. The fractures on the skull match the crushing pressure of an eagle's grip, a force strong enough to kill small prey instantly. Even the missing fragments of the skull added to the story. In modern raptor kills, bones are often removed or shattered during feeding. Crowned eagles, in particular, have been observed plucking flesh from the skull and discarding smaller fragments, leaving behind marks that closely resemble those found on the Tong child. From the forensic evidence, scientists reconstructed the attack. The crowned eagle likely perched in a tree, its plumage blending seamlessly with the branches and leaves. The eagle scanned the environment, and when the child, no older than 3 or 4, wandered too far from the group, the eagle seized its opportunity. Swooping down at up to 50 miles per hour, it was upon its prey within seconds. The child may have only sensed the danger at the last moment, a shadow flickering across the ground, a rush of air, a fleeting instinct to turn. But there is no time to react. The eagle's talons strike with surgical accuracy, sinking deep into the child's eye sockets, leaving those distinct marks. These sharp, curved weapons are designed to grip and kill. and the force is catastrophic. The initial impact likely crushes parts of the skull, causing instant death or rendering the child unconscious. The eagle's immense strength, capable of lifting prey up to 4 times its own weight, allows it to hoist the lifeless body from the ground. The child would have died almost instantly. The eagle then gripped the body tightly, carrying it to a tree or another high perch. Like modern crowned eagles, it targets the soft tissues first, using its beak to strip flesh from the skull. The puncture marks in the eye sockets and fractures in the skull are not only evidence of the initial attack, but also of the feeding process. As the eagle tears at its meal, smaller fragments of bone break away and fall to the ground. This scavenging activity leaves a forensic signature, distinctive marks and missing pieces that align perfectly with what scientists see in the Taung child fossil. This skull finding not only added to what we know about human evolution, but also provided vivid details of one of Earth's earliest murder mysteries. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.